I'm Michelle. I have the Coloring Club here on Facebook, and I thought I'd take a few minutes today just to show you my coloring book collection. I've been collecting for 20 years, so don't let this freak you out. The whole bottom row of my bookshelves contains about 280 coloring books. I've been picking up books since my kids were little. I remember a time when I used to go in Barnes & Noble and have to run back to the kids' activity section and browse and scrounge, and I'd find the occasional Dover coloring book or a Ruth Heller, and I'd be so excited to have to buy them. So I thought I'd show you a few of my favorites and maybe some more unique ones, just for something fun to do. Ruth Heller used to have a lot of books out, and I see they're reprinting hers right now. These are really nice, and I have most of hers. Another publisher that puts out some really pretty coloring books is Pomegranate Press. They do mostly artists. I like anything Alphonse Mucha. They also have Christopher Marley, the guy who does the really cool insects. He uses the live insects and makes designs. I love this book. And these books have really nice thick paper. There's very little marker bleed through. So check out Pomegranate Press. Some more favorites of mine are put out by Bellerophon Books. You can go to the website. Let's see, it was on the back of one of these books. I think it's just Bellerophon Books. Or even if you go to Amazon and type in Bellerophon Books, you'll get a list of their coloring books. They have a lot of detail. They do mostly historical costumes. The drawing style is a little different, but I really like it. This one is Sleeping Beauty. They do a couple paper doll books, and you don't have to use them for paper dolls. I haven't cut any of these out, but I really like the finely detailed costumes, and it's a good occasion to get out your silver and gold markers to color in lace and stuff of sorts. Another cool thing about these books is it's not just pictures. They also have text that details a little bit about the costume and the time period. So if you like to learn when you're coloring, I highly recommend checking out those books. Dover, I probably have half of the Dover coloring books out there. My favorite one is Carousel Animals. I've colored a lot in here, and here's an example of, a lot of times I'll go to parties or I'll have friends over and I'll just bring out the coloring books, and I usually only put out the coloring books that I don't mind other people coloring in. And the rule is you can color them as long as you sign your name and write the date. So then later on when I'm looking through, I can see who's colored what. This is a fun book. Victorian Houses is a really old one. This one's probably 2 decades old. I see Dover is republishing a lot of their books, which is awesome. This is an example of 20 years ago when I was desperate for coloring books, and like I said, I go to Barnes & Noble and dig through the activity books. This is one I probably have never colored in, but I was so excited at the time to just find a coloring book that I grabbed it. Oh, there, see, I did do something. But I do like these historical fashion coloring books because, again, they detail on the bottom about the costumes. This one I wasn't even aware I had. I don't have too many coloring books that I haven't colored in, but this is one of them. Here's another one I found that I had forgot I had. Really kind of a cool book. When I'm not coloring, my day job is an author. So I write paranormal romance, and this was kind of a fun book since it features literary lovers. My favorite books of all are the fashion books from Dover. This is my favorite time period book. Rococo. You can still get these online and at Dover, but I think they're a little bit harder to find in the stores just because of the new coloring books are kind of taking over everything. Again, awesome detail, and on the bottom they always have a little text about what's going on with the costume and the time period. I think I have most of the Dover fashion books, and I highly recommend any of them. Here's another favorite, just because the details are so awesome, and it is by my favorite coloring book illustrator, Marty Noble. If her name's on a book, I highly suggest you just pick it up, because her designs are very detailed, really clean. They're just beautiful and fun to work with. I've colored a lot in this book because I just really love it. Decorative Tile Designs. Here's a book that is 20 years old. Pub date is 1995. I actually emailed this author a few years back and asked her if she was going to republish this book, and she never replied. But it's a really cool book. It's kind of like sensual images, but nothing too risque. It doesn't look like I colored anything, but at the time when I bought it, I loved the book so much I decided I wouldn't color in it, and instead I'd make copies, because I used to go to parties and bring my coloring books a lot. So I made a bunch of copies, and this was a popular book, so that's a good idea. If you have a book you really like, make some copies and share it with friends. This is another pomegranate book, Maxfield Parrish, another favorite artist. Here's some fun little coloring cards I must have picked up at a museum. Not really sure where. I like when you can get your favorite artists' designs to color. I really like Micah Jelinka. I reviewed her a few months ago on Facebook. I believe she's going to be putting out a coloring book, if I remember correctly. So I can't wait for that. Here is, oh, there's some more cards that went with that set. Here's an interesting poster set I picked up. It was at a book sale. They're larger sized stock paper fantasy designs, and I haven't colored any of them because I'm just a little scared where to start. So they're just kind of like collector's items for me. This book I picked up at a Renaissance festival one year. It's oversized. Ruth Thompson, who is an amazing artist. I really like it, but at the same time I don't do a lot of pictures that are shaded, so that kind of turns me off from starting, but one of these days I'll just have to dive in and check it out. Another really old book, which was popular, I think I found this in the kids section, so it was probably a kid's book. Oversized. This is the alphabet. This is the one page I've really worked on. I don't know if this one's available anymore. And another kind of interesting one, the adult coloring book. Another oversized book. Huge pictures. Some graphic images. Not, you probably don't want the kids to look at it, but nothing too terrible. I know this is not available right now, but I believe the artist did have a Kickstarter project going to get the books republished. I'm not sure how that went. When I was in Paris this summer, I discovered the hardcover coloring books, which is really cool. This one has got a pad on this side, it's got one on this side, and it's got two smaller ones. So I can pull one out and use them as cards to send to people. I also picked up another hardcover book. And this is kind of 18th century motif. Sorry for the shadow that shows up, I'm just trying out the video thing today. One of my recent favorites that I reviewed at Facebook is Coloring with Your Octopus, which is done by Brian Kissinger, who is an artist for Disney. And it's done in the long format, so the pages are longer, which I like. I've only colored the front page, but it's a story throughout. It was a steampunkish woman and her octopus. That's a fun book. And this is my favorite pick for the year. This is kind of an unassuming coloring book that if you see in the store, you probably walk right by it, so I want to call attention to it. I really like the detail. I like the quotes in it. My goal was to start on page 1 and start coloring through the end. But the only thing that did not make this a top pick for me was the fact that markers bleed through and the images are on both sides of the page. Otherwise this would have definitely been a top pick. And then you see once I got started I didn't necessarily like all the pages, so I skipped ahead. Highly recommend this book. These images will take you days if you work on them a little bit at a time. Fun quotes. Definitely need your fine tip markers for these. This will be a book that I'll go through and finish. Again, it's the inspirational coloring book, and I believe it was about $9. Here's a brand new one I just got in the mail the other day. This was a Kickstarter project, Boho Soul, by an artist who's just got a very bohemian flair. I'm not sure if it's available at online stores yet, but when it is, I will definitely post a link. It's got some fun stuff in it. It's this artist style converted into coloring book format. Here's another Kickstarter project I posted about a few months ago. Fairy tales on one side of the page and a little picture to go with the fairy tale on the other side. And this Kickstarter project had an easier version of the book for kids, so parents could color along with their kids. I like these images, but I haven't colored in that one yet. So, if you think I'm addicted to coloring books, this is Dover's recent coloring catalog, and the first thing I did was go through and highlight everything I owned with orange marker because, yes, people, it is the sickness. So there you go. That's my collection. It's growing daily. I love to see everybody else's collections, so feel free to post your videos online. Thanks.